You are looking live at the scene from Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, where Donald Trump is expected to step to the podium for a combination victory celebration press conference, as only Donald Trump can offer on a night where he has won in the winner-take-all situation in Florida. He is projected likewise to win the state of Illinois, and we continue to keep tabs on other states tonight across the country. Donald Trump, winner-take-all in Florida of Republican delegates. Favorite son, John Kasich, the Ohio governor, winning the Buckeye State. Numbers are very interesting across the country, and as we continue to monitor those numbers, let's call on two folks who are good friends of Newsmax TV. First, from Newsmax New York, the gentleman who sees things a bit from the leftward side, Rick Ungar. And Skyping in from Connecticut, the former lieutenant governor of the state of New York, Republican Betsy McCaughey, who is all smiles tonight based on the performance of Donald Trump. Betsy, your reaction to how things are turning out here?
Well, first of all, it's clear that the nation is trumping and cruising, that the anti-establishment forces, the people have spoken, and they have discarded the candidates who represent more of the same old GOP moderation. So whether you're for Trump or you're for Cruz, you're going to be celebrating tonight. It's a two-man race, and whether it's in fact just a one-man race will depend on how things shake out in Illinois, because their delegates are actually awarded by congressional district. But it's either a two-man race or a one-man race, and the big victory is for the public against the Washington insiders.
Rick Ungar, you made mention earlier the fact that Donald Trump has perhaps changed forever the way presidential campaigns are run. You mentioned social media, but we may see another example of it here in just a few minutes, where he comes out, speaks to his supporters, and then takes questions from the press. Heretofore, that's something we have not seen during a candidate's victory or concession statement.
Yeah, frankly, I don't know if that's going to be a major change. It's true that that's what he's doing. I have to tell you, I feel a little bit bad for his supporters that he doesn't really give them an opportunity to celebrate, the victories they help him get, but that's his call. But I do think, and I will say again, I think he really has changed how politics works from here on out. He has proven not only the value of social media, which has been extraordinary for him, and he's used it brilliantly, but he has also shown what accessibility means. Look, he picks up the phone a couple of days a week and he calls into Morning Joe, let's say. Can you imagine if Hillary Clinton did that? I think it would just give her miles of benefit, but she won't do that. She's old school. It has gotten Donald Trump a great deal of attention. I think today we learned that he has gotten some $1 billion in free media. And that's because he's made himself available. He calls into shows. He's there. And I think that was incredibly smart on his part.
Everyone wants to know what's going to happen next. And the other interesting development tonight is that because of Kasich's one-state win, Kasich will be a kingmaker. Everyone's wondering how this is going to shake out on the Republican side. And unless Donald Trump wins in an unpredictably big sweep after tonight, Kasich holds the cards in making either Cruz or Trump the king.
Well, now that's an interesting take.
Very good analysis.
So Kasich becomes the kingmaker. Well, Dick Morris talked about this earlier. And I guess the question I have for you, Betsy, is how exactly would he do so? Would he sit down with Cruz and say, look, you run in Arizona and out west, and I'll take the Northeast? Or how exactly?
No. But as we get closer to the convention and the numbers become clear, this will happen before the convention actually meets. Rather than a brokered convention, there will be a brokered pre-convention deal.
All right, well, now you set up a scenario, the pre-convention deal. And we think back to 1976 and Kansas City, where Ronald Reagan surprised the crowd with a surprise pick for his running mate prior to winning the nomination, Senator Dick Swikert of Pennsylvania. Are you suggesting tonight that it's conceivable that we would see a Trump-Kasich ticket?
Well, that's certainly plausible. It has been from the beginning because we know how important Ohio is for winning. But whether it's Kasich as vice president or whether Kasich asks for something else, he's going to be swapping his delegates with one of these two front runners.
Well, Rick, when you think about this,
Yeah,
it's the favorite son designation. When all is said and done, he won Ohio. Good for him. He goes to the convention in his home state as the favorite son.
Yeah, he's got to do more than that. I mean, it was a good news, bad news scenario. The good news is he would have been finished if he hadn't won Ohio. The bad news is you don't get that far just having won your home state. I would watch very carefully the state of Pennsylvania, which is around the corner, and you'll see Kasich spending a lot of time there. My contacts and the numbers I've seen show that he actually has a very real chance of possibly winning that state. If he did, that does a lot for him. Now, to Betsy's point, I do agree that that he could be in a position of being a kingmaker. I don't think it'll be pre-convention because I think that Kasich will want to go to the convention, see how hung up the convention is, and see if he still has a shot at grabbing it for himself. Also remember that there's early fights that are going to happen at the convention, particularly at the Rules Committee. That's going to tell you a great deal about what's going to happen. And I think Kasich is going to want to keep his options open to get through rules and to get through platform.
Reince Priebus has already said the rules will not be changed.
Well, there's one thing to say.
It doesn't mean it's going to be that way.
And
Yeah.
it may be, while he is the chairman of the Republican National Committee, there is a lot of, and I'm going to be very diplomatic about this, Betsy, a lot of political entrepreneurship in the Republican Party.
Well,
Some
it's even
folks
more
taking
than that.
initiative. Yeah.
Right.
Very
Reince
quickly.
Priebus doesn't even have a vote. Reince Priebus is not even on the national committee. He does not have a vote. So, and he hasn't had that much influence so far in this campaign.
Well, one thing influencing our coverage is the clock, and time is truly a four-letter word as we're approaching the top of the hour. Betsy McCaughey from Connecticut and Rick Ungar from Newsmax, New York, we thank you for your insights and analysis. Kasich as a kingmaker. Well, he certainly won his home state of Ohio. Donald Trump victorious in Florida. Marco Rubio gets out of the campaign. And I will be leaving the anchor desk for a little while. Steve Malzberg anchors our coverage from New York next hour. Stay with us here on Newsmax TV's coverage of America Votes 2016. Thanks for watching.